Hey, in this video, I'm going to take you on a tour through Beverly Hills, California, and give you a little bit of perspective on where you are in relation to some other areas in the Los Angeles area. And if you watched my recent vlog tour of Beverly Hills, this is just going to give you an extra perspective on where you are in relation again to everything else and a little bit more information. So let's go ahead and get into it right now. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, if you're new to the community, I want to welcome you to the channel. And if you want the most thorough, deep dive, all things Los Angeles, well, this is the channel that does just that for you. So go ahead right now and hit the like button, smash the subscribe button as well. And don't forget to ring the bell for notifications so you can stay up to date here in the current market of Los Angeles. And we're dropping videos like this every week. Hey, my name is James Stednicka Jr. I'm a local real estate agent, and I actually was born and raised here in the area, and we're getting tons of calls and emails every day from people just like you who want to move here to Los Angeles, and we absolutely love it. So if you want to make a move here, buy, sell properties here, well, you got to let me know, and the only way I can do that is to help you is for you to reach out to me. So go ahead and shoot me a text, give me a call, jump on our calendar, and that way we can help you make a smooth move here to the Los Angeles area. So let's go ahead right now and get into Beverly Hills area. So what I'm going to do is share my screen with you so you can see a map of the Beverly Hills area and the surrounding areas. So let's go ahead and get into that right now. All right, so here we are. This is the greater Los Angeles area. Here's downtown Los Angeles. Here is Beverly Hills. Okay, here's Santa Monica. Here is the Malibu area over here, okay? This is the LAX International Airport, just to give you a little bit of an idea of where you are. So as you can tell on the map, Beverly Hills is pretty centrally located to all of the Los Angeles area. Whether you're going downtown, East LA, you're going down to the airport, going down here to Long Beach area, you're going up to the San Fernando Valley, you are really centrally located in the area. So before I get into actual things to do or see and about so much Beverly Hills, so let me give you a little bit of history about Beverly Hills. So this is a really interesting area. Now, as you know, probably, Los Angeles area was basically taken over by the Spaniards from the Indians, in the 1700s, 1800s, and it was predominantly, all Indians here long before that. So the Beverly Hills area is pretty interesting though, so there was this is gonna be like a really long story short. I can go many probably hours speaking about this. So the area of Beverly Hills was basically there was a widow, her husband died. He was a Spanish soldier in the early 1800s. He died and she inherited basically the property. And so what happened over time is where she was trying to raise cattle, trying to raise horses and cattle. Her name was Maria. Anyway, so she ended up staying for a number of years into mid 1800s, and then ended up having some issues with actually some local Indians. And after that, in about I think the 1840s, she ended up selling the property to a couple investors. And so basically between 1850 and 1900, that 50-year span in the Beverly Hills area, different investors had bought the land. They tried to work the land. There was some major droughts. It just could not produce crops. The horses and cattle would die off. They basically brought a bunch of sheep in. The sheep were there for a long time. And so anyways, long story short, they tried to drill oil there too as well, some investors. And then eventually in the later 1800s, some other investor folks came in, and there were a handful of them, and they ended up striking basically well water, and ended up being able to flourish in the community. And then late 1800s, early 1900s, they actually started building out Beverly Hills. And a few of the guys' names are synonymous with the area. One of them being we have a Mount Wilson here. So the guy's last name was Wilson, and then there was another famous guy as well. And anyway, so what they did is that they ended up selling and subdividing parcels in the area for like $10 a parcel, and then the entire area basically became what it is today. But it was a slow process. They even grew, actually, there was tons and tons of bean fields in the Beverly Hills area before it actually became predominant as to what it is today. But in the early days, they actually had like trolley cars. They had, horse and buggy, of course, and they had electric cars going up and down the streets, down the main streets, like, Wilshire, Santa Monica, those kind of things like that. So really interesting history of Beverly Hills. Now, I have a really long history, basically 53 years of Beverly Hills history in my life. My father was a cop in Beverly Hills from 1984 to 64 to 84, so a 20-year span before he actually got medically retired. He got hit several times and had surgeries from the motorcycle, police motorcycle. And anyway, so we knew a lot about Beverly Hills. We had to go on a lot of tours with my dad, and he'd be taking friends and family to Beverly Hills, and then we ended up knowing a lot about it. So with that all being said, I'm going to do a little deep dive here and get in and show you some of the areas here that you might want to take a look at when you actually visit Beverly Hills. And by the way, if you actually do want to come out to Beverly Hills, I will give you a personal guided tour on the house. You just have to let me know in advance so I can take the time to reserve the day for you. But I would actually work that in and show you around myself, and take you to all these cool spots that I've been talking about, or that will soon be mentioning here. So with that being said, so Beverly Hills basically is kind of split in half here by Santa Monica Boulevard. So you got the southern eastern portion, and then you got the northwestern portion here as well. So you have got some really cool spots to look at. So when you do come here, so let's just start on the top here. So you got what's called the Truesdale Estates. So this is a gentleman way back in the day, in the 1920s, I believe. He wanted to build kind of an airy, kind of, all-inclusive, amazing properties up in the hills. Now, all this area here, north of Santa Monica, actually north of Sunset, the Sunset Strip here. So this is Sunset. So all of this area here is all mountains, okay? The hills, mountains. So a lot of these properties that are up in here overlook the entire LA area, and you can see like the beach, you can see downtown LA. So you've got amazing views, and you actually pay the price for those views. This is where you get properties in the 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 million, 100 million. You probably saw a few of those in my vlog tour if you watched that. So anyways, the Truesdale Estates is a really prominent spot. Like I said, the guy who built these, his name was Truesdale, and I believe in the 1920s, and then that's how this kind of area became famous. So a great place, obviously, to move if you can find a property there. Do you want to move and have that kind of lifestyle? A lot of A-listers, of course, live there, especially back in the early days, big time producers, directors, all that kind of good stuff. So moving on here, so the Greystone Mansion. So this is a real famous spot. So these areas here that are like highlighted, okay, these are all places that people go and take tours, and they're things to do and see in Beverly Hills. So the Greystone Mansion was famous. This was another property built back in the 1920s, and I believe the gentleman, the Greystone gentleman, built the property for his son, and then I think it was a friend of the son who killed the son, and then I think he committed suicide as well. So the Greystone Mansion has been known to be haunted all these years, and I would probably say it actually is haunted. If you kind of believe in that kind of thing, I do. So this is a great place to check out. It's been around for 100 years, basically, and it's a really, really popular spot. So this is right just south of Truesdale Estates. So if you cruise over here, also here, okay, you've got this reservoir as well, kind of sits in the middle here. That's just to give you a perspective of like how big that reservoir is, right? So this is, by the way, it's not technically not Beverly Hills, but they call it North Beverly Park. Some people say that it is Beverly Hills, but it's it's really not if you look at the map. Okay, that's just to give you an idea of what's kind of around. These are canyons that lead all the way through the west side to the San Fernando Valley as well. Just give you a little bit of an idea on what that does. And the San Fernando Valley is all over here, and it's actually quite big. So anyway, so let's get back to Beverly Hills. So moving on over here, we'll go to the Beverly Gardens. So the Beverly Gardens, so this is a real famous spot. Once again, this was back in the 20s. Again, they had there's a big lily pond, and it goes for actually several acres here. So this is where the big Beverly Hills sign is that everybody likes to take pictures of. And the sign's, I think, like 40 feet long. It's pretty high, it's 40 feet long. It's one of the most popular destinations for pictures in all of Southern California, if not probably the world, I'm sure, when everybody comes here to Beverly Hills. So this area here is, like I said, the Beverly Gardens Park, and it's a pretty cool place to see as well. This Spadina house, okay, so this is a really cool house. So this is known as the Witch's House, and this is a really cool spot where, so back in the early 20s, again, this actual house was on the lot, I think, of the Culver, the old MGM lot, the old Culver Studios area in Culver City, I believe. Long story short, they used it for housing like people that were in the movie business. And then I think it was like 5 years or 6 years later, they ended up moving it here to Beverly Hills. And then it became basically, it's called the Witch's House because it almost like comes out of the ground, out of nowhere. And they've got these really cool, creepy trees. Everything looks really old and creepy. And so they have actual tours now. And there's the person that bought it actually revitalized it to keep it up to its current standards of being an old house, an old scary house. So that's definitely a place you're going to want to see when you come here. Very cool. And like I said, I've been to all these areas here. In fact, so the Beverly Hilton Hotel, that's this right here. Okay, I actually had my high school prom here. Pretty crazy, back in like 1987, or I think 86, 87, I don't know, something like that. It's been a long time. The Beverly Hilton Hotel, really cool little history there. So I believe they completed it in about around 1909, 1911, somewhere right around there. And it's one of the oldest hotels in all of Beverly Hills. They built it to basically attract, high influenced, people coming from other areas, out of the state, out of the area. They wanted something to attract them and have an amazing place to stay. So that's what they ended up building, and it's a beautiful hotel. It's big, it's very lush. Most people know about it, of course, if they visit Beverly Hills. So right on the corner here, of Wilshire and Santa Monica, just on the south, kind of like southwest corner over here. So this area here also, this was called, so from like Doheny Street here, Doheny Drive, all the way like here in Wilshire, and then Santa Monica, this forms like a triangle. So this was the famous, and is the famous triangle. So way back in the early 20th century, early mid 20th century, everybody that knew about the triangle, this was the place to go. You got, like, of course, now you got Maestro Steakhouse. This is where, of course, we're going to get into this right now. This is where the famous Rodeo Drive is, right here. And so this is where all your your Gucci, all your famous shops are down here. And you can see here, in between Santa Monica and Wilshire, this is like this is it right here, right? This is where everybody comes and checks out. All the different shops. You've got, like I said, everything if you want. Cheesecake Factory, you got Sephora. Anything you pretty much want in terms of, Saks Fifth Avenue. If you're a shopper, you want to come down here, well, this is the place to go. So make sure that, of course, for parking purposes, this is a very popular area, for tourists. So pretty much everybody here is a tourist. You're going to see people taking pictures and all that crazy stuff. So pretty cool spot if you'd like to shop. And that's a famous Rodeo Drive right there. Moving over here. So this is where the Beverly Hills Police Department is. This is where, like I said, my father was a police officer for 20 years. Right next door, of course, the public library, and then you've got the fire department is actually right there as well. So I'll just give you kind of a perspective of where things are. And like I said, there's that Beverly Gardens Park again. And so you've got, yeah, you just got all these really cool spots to see. And then you can also, in Beverly Hills, you can also do, so what they have is that, it's, for an experience for you to do it, if you do come here, it's also pretty cool, is that you can take like a double-decker bus, or they've got like little smaller van type of buses where the roof is open up, and you basically, they go around a tour around the entire city. That way you get to, you get to do the whole official tourist thing, actually. So pretty cool, right? Like I said, lots of cool stuff. So like I said, a lot of people don't know that in this area also over here, so there was actually a racetrack way back in the, I think it was in the 20s or 30s, that they actually had over here. And most people don't know about it. I think it was like a quarter-mile track. They used to race cars, and if you Google it, you can see pictures of it all. And it was a big, giant racetrack, and they would just cram hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of people in there. And that's something like almost nobody really knows about. Like I said, I've been out here for 53 years, and with my father being a police officer, I got to learn a lot about Beverly Hills. Actually, if you ever call my phone number, or I call you, my phone number pops up as a Beverly Hills number, because I've had it for so long and I got it from Beverly Hills. So yeah, with that being said, just lots of cool stuff to see and do. And of course, you are minutes away from all the other areas here. But make sure that you do go down and you do visit all, like I said, the Spadina house, the haunted house, and then the Greystone Mansion. Like I said, just all these other cool spots. A lot of these, this area has changed so much over the years, where there was, like I said, there was actually trolley cars and street cars, electric cars going down the streets. If you check some of this area out, you can, this was all dirt roads, right? And then, another cool thing here. So this is actually like this area, like all in here, is called the Flats. So this is like, all the famous palm trees that you see in the pictures, and people want to like get out and do video, like what we actually did on my vlog tour. You'll see us in here in the Flats. So this is where all the famous palm trees are, like the streets. So the actual streets, a lot of these streets are like, some of them are like 60, 70 feet wide, and they purposely were designed like that. You can see right here, like how wide these streets are, so they made them like that. Actually, they designed them like that purposely to give you the feel that, that you're in like an exotic kind of place. And like I said, these are lined with big giant palm trees. So yeah, with that being said, those are most of the cool areas to see. And then once again, you get up here in the mountains, you're going to have these tight little, crazy narrow roads. And, if you have like a big truck, like I do, very tough to get in and around these areas. So obviously I got to take our smaller car. But yeah, just come here. And like I said, hey, and if you like and hear what you're seeing here, please give me a like. It really helps my YouTube algorithm. Make sure, again, you subscribe to the channel and you ring the bell for notifications. And that way, like I said, we can help you out here if you are looking to move, or if you just want more information, or if you do want to buy and sell a property in the Beverly Hills area. I've got lots more information I would love to share with you. And like I said, I would love to give you a personal tour if that's something that you would actually want to take me up on. Well, you got to let me know. Just reach out, hit me up, shoot me a text, email me, give me a call, get on a Zoom call with me, calendar, whatever you want to do, whatever is your best way. And that way I can help you out, and then we can get together. So I hope you enjoyed this information. And again, I'm dropping new videos all the time. Different areas. So I'm actually doing, traveling all around Los Angeles, and, I give out, I do vlog tours, I do map tours like this, I do pros and cons about each area. So, yeah, if you like this information, make sure you stay tuned to this channel and check out every week for new and, new and upcoming videos. And that way I can provide you the best service, on my end. And that's it. So again, thanks. And I'll catch you on the next video.